We're back on the Amiga reviews today, and the game I'm playing is The Blues Brothers. This is a game that I have obsessed over for many years. Blues Brothers came out in 1991 on many platforms, as I well know, and it was developed by Titus France, who seemed to be like a regular developer on games I've been playing. I didn't realise how wide Titus's tentacles stretched. I'm actually going to combine two of my channel memes into one sentence here. When I was just a small boy, I got the Blues Brothers game for my Atari ST. So naturally, I am reviewing the Amiga version. I have played this on a few platforms. This is not about these other platforms, but what I will say is this: they're all similar, but there are little needling elements about the other versions. The DOS version has push scrolling, so it's quite hard. The Atari ST version simply suffers from the fact that there is an Amiga version that is very similar, but just simply better, as we will see now. And the Game Boy version is really good. It's an immensely frustrating game, but the Game Boy version is really well made. It's a shame about the jumping. This is a tough game. The jumping is hard enough when it's working on the Amiga. On the Game Boy, the jumping is broken, and you don't get enough health and you don't get enough lives. But I still have a huge amount of affection for the Game Boy version. And then the NES version is really odd. It looks ostensibly the same, but it has like spiky things going up and down and diagonally, and that it's a strange choice. It feels like it's something that must have been done because there was some limitation on the 8-bit system. That's all I can imagine. Although the Game Boy just has the enemies, so I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't like the NES version. This Amiga version is the best version. I used to really like this film. I still like this film. I think it's a brilliant film. And I'm not exactly a musical guy, but this film's brilliant. So when I realised they'd made a game, I had to have it. I was so excited, and then I basically did level 1 over and over again because I didn't know what to do. I didn't realise you had to find a musical instrument. I probably should have just read the manual, as I literally owned the game. Find the musical instrument in the shop. I used to go in the shops. I used to remember going in and going, wow, you can go inside. It never occurred to me that on the second floor there's a shop. You go in and, oh, there's the instrument. I think it's a guitar in the first level. I was really young, but I used to die about halfway through level 1. But I still just had this sort of affection for the game. And then in my autumn years, I have got better at the game. And what you're seeing now is a recording of me finally beating the game on the Amiga. And the reason I beat it, I think, on the Amiga is because it is not broken on the Amiga. It's really hard, but it's not broken. So respect to the Amiga. Moby Games has this very brief and disappointing description. The Blues Brothers are on the run from the law. Take control of either Bulky Jake, don't body shame, or Nippy Elwood. Now, before I even go on, I've played as both. I honestly can't tell the difference. I can tell. I can see. I mean, I can't tell the difference in your experience as a player, depending on which brother you choose. Couldn't tell you. It didn't seem any different. I think, as proven, you'd think, oh, Elwood maybe can jump higher. Well, whatever he can do, I beat this with Jake, so whatever. My son is called Jake. That's how much I like the Blues Brothers. Anyway, I digress. Take control of either Bulky Jake or Nippy Elwood in this 5-level platform game. Well, that's an interesting way of putting it. Because it's 6 levels. Is it 5 levels on another platform? Because it certainly isn't on Amiga. You must... This is really... Is this even the game? Are they even describing the right game here? You must cross a prison. Yes. A river. When? When? What? And the big city. When? They all just look like industrial hellscapes. The first one... To me, I look at these levels as level 1, shopping mall. Level 2, kind of like a prison. Level 3, kind of like a prison. Level 4, a sewer? Is that meant to be the river? A sewer with bizarre creatures in it. Blues Brothers is a weird film, but it doesn't have slime creatures. Level 5, the big city. Maybe, I suppose you're going on the scaffolding and that. Strange. And then level 6 is the concert hall. You also must find your missing records and collect these. Except that I don't... Why? Why do I need to find my missing records and collect these? Do you mean find my missing instruments and collect them? Because that would be true. You have to get the instruments. You don't have to get the records. And then this person, I feel like this person's projecting. Everything and everyone is against you. I'm not sure that's true. But you can pick up and throw warehouse crates to defeat your opponents. Bring it on. I am one of the world's fastest... I'm not kidding. I'm one of the world's fastest speedrunners of Rescue Rangers. And I am all for crate throwing mechanics in games. I consider crate throwing to be the epitome of a great platforming experience. It was clear though that there is a consensus that scrolling is best on the Amiga. In fact, I'd say the scrolling is only playable on the Amiga and the Game Boy, and the fact is on the Game Boy the jumping is broken, so ergo Amiga is the only viable way to play this game, which is no bad thing. I think the graphics in this game are awesome. I love the sprites, I love the backgrounds, the gradient skies is really evocative. It's a really beautiful piece of work. The only graphics that really fall down for me are where they try to draw like creatures or slime monsters. They seem to be not great with that sprite work, but apart from that, I think it's an absolutely gorgeous game. The music's great. It's perfect. It's a perfect accompaniment to the game. The controls are tricky because you're basically talking about one button controls where up is jump, which is hard enough as it is, but when up is jump but also fire and up is enter building and up is climb, it gets a bit fussy and it really caused some infuriating death loops at times. What I liked about the game is it wasn't too frustrating. You have to find the instruments, and there was a couple of sections where I had to go back and find the instruments, but they were never too hard to find. There was some flirting with switches in the prison level, and I'm glad that they didn't overdo that, because that would have got quite annoying quite quickly. At the end of the level there were 2 flags, and even with having read what I've read, I have no idea what the 2 flags are. In fact, I want to know what differences it make, which flag you choose. So let's find a manual. This is wild. This is insane. What is this? Jake tried to strangle the bass player when he broke the news that some of their equipment had been stolen overnight. The other musicians trying to restrain him actually knocked him out. The pianist came into the room and, seeing Jake still unconscious, he held out the phone for Elwood. Elwood immediately recognised the voice of Josh Mackenzie, the town sheriff. "Listen to me good, funny guys. You've been warned. I don't want to see you in my town. Last time it took us 3 weeks to clean up after you." There is a whole damn story here. The object of the game, you have to find the guitar, microphone, amplifier, concert poster. Do you have to find the poster? And concert permits. I love that they sort of ran out of musical instruments quite quickly. Well, maybe I'm being cynical. Tell me about the flags. It doesn't say if there's any difference between Jake and Elwood in terms of gameplay. One weird thing I noticed was that there are question marks throughout the levels. If you touch them, you don't know what you're going to get. Some of them take 20 records off of you, some of them give you 50 records. You need 100 records to get an extra energy heart. You also can touch a broken record and lose 50 points, but at least it's obvious. But the other thing the question marks do, and I was really curious to see, is you just stand there dancing for a bit, and I'm like, why? And there is no reason. That is what it does. It immobilizes you temporarily. I find that very, very strange. I love that the slime things are called the Blobsons. In fact, they've come up with some very strange names for characters. The farmer guys that of course are walking on the roof of the shopping mall are called Ringo. That makes a lot of sense. And there's construction workers, and they're all called E equals MC cubed. Why? That is bizarre. And just to note, I have read the manual entirely. It does not explain why there are two flags. I assume, in the absence of any explanation, it is to do with two-player mode. Maybe each player has to grab a different flag. That's all I can think of. Everything about this game just evokes weirdness, but I kind of am affectionate about it. I mean, I've been playing it for a long time, and I was determined to beat it this time. So I had a really fun time with it. It is very hard, it is very weird, but even though I finished it, I actually feel like I might play it again sometime, because it's nice. It's a nice experience. I had a good time. So that is the Blues Brothers. If anyone has any suggestions for Amiga games they'd like to see me play and review, I can't guarantee that I will finish any other games. This is quite a rare treat. Please post your recommendations in the comments after you have liked and subscribed, of course. So thank you very much, and goodbye.